And it turns out that the agency may actually be violating the law as it continues to turn away Democratic lawmakers from immigration detention sites. As the New York Times reports, quote, a dozen House Democrats were barred from visiting immigration detention facilities sued the Trump administration on Wednesday, arguing that a new policy imposed by the Department of Homeland Security to limit lawmakers' access was an illegal infringement on their ability to conduct congressional oversight, which is literally their job. Joining us now is one of those House Democrats who is part of that lawsuit, chairman of the Congressional Hispanic Caucus, Congressman Adriano Espaillat of New York, and Skye Perryman, president and CEO of Democracy Forward, who is also part of the lawsuit. Congressman, I want to start with you because you and many other members of Congress have shown up to ICE facilities doing your job. This is something you guys have done for years, decades even. What happened the last time that you were there?
Well, thank you first and foremost for having us this Sunday morning. We were denied access to the notorious 10th floor facility where people are processed. This is at 26 Federal Plaza, is an ICE DHS administrative building that has turned into a detention facility where people are held 24 hours. And so we feel that constitutes.
Congressman, we're having some trouble with your audio. We'll try to get that fixed, and we'll go to Skye here. Skye, you're representing these members of Congress in this lawsuit. What do you think is the end result? Y'all have been suing a lot, this administration a lot for this entire time. What are you expecting to get out of this one?
Well, our team at Democracy Forward, you're right, has had to go to court almost every single day, not because we like doing it. I mean, we have got some good lawyers, but because this administration is just operating in such a harmful and unlawful way. This is really, though, quite important. I mean, what is the administration hiding? Why aren't they letting our clients, individual members of Congress who are trying to do their duty under the law, the duty that they have to the American people to conduct oversight, why aren't they letting them in, right? I mean, that's what this lawsuit is really about.
Pretty basic.
It's basic. Yeah. It's totally unlawful. And it's just another example of how this administration actually won't stand by what it's doing. What are they hiding? What don't they want these members of Congress to see, and what don't they want the American people to see?
Well, Scott, I think one of the things that we're starting to see, at least from those individuals that were detained in El Salvador, they're starting to tell their stories. And the stories are brutal, and they're so explicit, and they are in so many ways not something of how you carry any type of treatment for folks that are in prison in modern-day America. Talk a little bit about that, and talk about perhaps that is why they're obfuscating access to this.
Absolutely. I mean, that's another place. It's another case that Democracy Forward and our friends at the ACLU have. And what we've seen is the administration tried to hide. They lied. They said that they didn't have any control over what was happening in El Salvador. And then a document pops up that El Salvador provided the United Nations that says, oh, the United States does have control. And so now you see the White House trying to move the deck chairs around, engage in a prisoner swap. And we're starting to see the reports out, the harrowing reports of what is happening to people in this country as a result of this administration's policies. And so really one of the highlights that we want the American people to know is that the courts, one of the reasons we go to court is because this administration is not showing the American people what it's doing unless we get into court. And when we get into court, we're able to show enforced transparency. And what the American people are seeing, they don't like, regardless of who they are, regardless of what their background is, whether they're liberal, conservative, moderate. The American people are rejecting this extreme agenda. And that is what our cases are showing every single day.
And we're seeing it, right, Congressman? The headline from Gallup saying that 79% of Americans did not vote for this, that they actually believe that there is a path potentially to protect immigrants. What is the delegation, the Hispanic Caucus, doing?
Well, we are visiting the detention centers. Obviously, 12 members of Congress are part of this lawsuit, including some members of the Congressional Hispanic Caucus. We're there on the ground every day. We're visiting victims. I myself was in Monterrey, Mexico, to visit 4 U.S.-born children that were deported with their families, including a 10-year-old little girl with a cancerous brain tumor whose life is now in danger. So we're pressing on the ground, and I think as a result of that, we've seen a shift in the public opinion. The recent Gallup poll said that 79% of Americans feel that immigration is a good thing, that is not a bad thing. And so the numbers are shifting, and children are involved in it, U.S. citizens are involved with it, green card holders are involved with it, work permit holders. So it's not just about the undocumented. This is a massive deportation effort that I think is ripping America apart and is changing the opinion of the American people.
Congressman, I want to follow up on this. We've talked about what ICE is doing, what the negative impact is. I want to talk about ICE itself. Now, I don't know what your algorithm or your staff's algorithm looks like. I'm seeing ads all the time. New ICE jobs, $100,000 a year, $45,000 signing bonus. Who gets signing bonuses outside of the NBA? Possible student loan forgiveness.
$60,000 in student loan repayment.
$60,000 in student loans being repaid. Yeah. What we're looking at is a situation where ICE is not just emboldened by this administration, but they're making these jobs look awful attractive. Is there anything that Congress can do to make this seem less appealing? Because right now, regardless of what color I am, if I am a young man or a young woman out of work, ICE seems like the place to go in the federal government, because I'm not going to get a job at NPR, I'm not going to get a job as a teacher, but I can get a job to put on a mask and yank people off the street from churches.
Looks like we lost the congressman's audio again there. But Skye, what do you think about these?
I mean, I'll just say this shows you the bankrupt situation that this administration is trying to sell to the American people.
Right.
They have, first of all, decimated jobs of public servants who have been keeping our communities safe, right? They've decimated those jobs. Now they're out trying to sell the American people a bill of goods. But I'll tell you, I don't think they're buying it. We already saw the heads of the sheriff's associations and sheriff's departments in places in the country where they say, like, we sort of support what we thought the administration's agenda was, but this is making our communities less safe. You're not engaging in partnership. And I really think that this is starting to show the shell game that this administration is playing, and we're seeing that the American people are getting it.
Well, and that shell game is part of why the Sheriff Association is so mad, is because they're basically going and poaching law enforcement.
Right. For people who already have jobs.
To keep communities safe.
Right.
They want to take people that are keeping our communities safe away in order to put them in a system that really is not about immigration. This was never about immigration. This is about a brute abuse of power that is offensive to the American people.
Congressman, I want to play some sound from ProPublica of immigration officers smashing a window to get people inside and get your response on the other side.
Look. Open the door. No, you can. You can. Why? It's illegal. Look. It's pregnant. It's pregnant.
Congressman, your response to that video?
Totally illegal. We see how they do that time and time again. In addition to that, we see how ICE officers are masked. You know, they're enforcing the law anonymously without a first name, a last name, a badge number. No law enforcement, no New York City police officer, no state law enforcement person or the feds should enforce the law anonymously. We're very concerned that this is leading to the impersonation of law enforcement. And we saw what happened in Minnesota when someone tried to impersonate a law enforcement agent and then went ahead and shot and killed a state legislator and her husband. So this is grave. This is at the core of community and law enforcement. There should be a good working relationship between law enforcement and community. And this is surely placing a huge obstacle in the way that will prevent the community from trusting law enforcement. So, you know, that's why we have these bills to unmask ICE agents. There should be no reason why they're anonymous.
Congressman Nasdran Aspayat and Skye Perryman, our friend, thank you so much for joining us.